Offseason update, and we're training push day here at the Muscle Factory, and I am back from the Olympia from Vegas. So we're gonna run through the day, get into push here in a second. Just a few updates though. The Olympia was amazing. What an incredible experience. Just to be able to like coach Shaun and be part of his process, and was such a high level athlete and someone that, man, I feel like just truly represents bodybuilding at its core. Just hard work, blue collar work ethic, but also Shaun has such an open willingness to change and adapt and just take what I have to say and put it to work. And you see the results. And it just meant so much to be able to stand next to Shaun and see him like come back. And I feel like there was a lot to prove this year for Shaun, having not bring his best the year before, and also like seeking out new coaching. And I know what it's like to try to extend that trust to a new person that you haven't worked with before. And it takes a lot, especially if that trust is ever broken before. And goals for Shaun were just to bring an all-time best and give Keon a real hard run for his money. And I feel like we accomplished both those things. And I'm just honored to be able to back Shaun and take up that dream with him. And I was telling him, like, I truly believe like Shaun is one of the greatest bodybuilders in the world, and it already has a legacy built of his accomplishments. And to be able to continue to build that with him, I'm just truly honored. So anyway, incredible experience. Also give me some realization into what it feels like to truly go all in for someone else, and why was that so meaningful and fulfilling to me. It's just, if not more fulfilling, being off stage and watching him do his thing. And it just had to be because it's someone I truly believed in, and I went all in for him. And so it gave me realizations of where I need to be putting my time in, within bodybuilding, also outside of bodybuilding, the time, who I put time into, what I put time into. If I don't feel like how I did for Shaun, I should not be putting my time in. And I feel like for you probably listening too, like, don't feel half-assed in anything that you do. It's not worth your time. Or the people that are half in and you're putting time into, and all your time, that's not going to be as fulfilling either. So anyway, not to get long-winded here, we're going to jump into today's session, give you a little bit of the recap of the Olympia, and we'll train this push session. I'll give you some updates along the way of where I'm at with my own personal off season. Let's get rolling. This push session is definitely still chest focused, like my other chest day that you saw. So if you go back, it was 2 weeks I hit my other push day. So that session starts with a fly. This one I start with a flex, and this one I start with a press, and I end with a fly. So I like having the fly on one day. I've struggled with not pressing with my triceps a lot. So one day helps me just really focus on getting connection with my pec and then going on to my pressing. Then this day I still prioritize pressing because I feel like, loading in a fully lengthened pec is beneficial in the front end, but also my priority is still like triceps, delts, and chest. So just the whole top line, like you saw the front lat spread, like that top line is where I'd still want more development. So a good compound first builds a lot of what I need. If you're someone with like amazing arms and delts and you just need chest, like hell, you could very make a good case for starting always with the fly. But anyway, 3 sets on the Smith flat press. I do keep an arch in my chest in this one. It basically kind of makes it more of a decline press for me, which is fine. I want more of that mid lower pec, and then we'll move to an upper pec incline press as a second movement. They're probably watching me breathe, like, God, trying to do some cardio. And it's, I know it's October in Texas, not because it's cold outside, because my allergies are terrible today. I'm like stuffy, like top of my palate, my sinus is like burning. Ugh, terrible. It's supposed to be Halloween season. All right, favorite Halloween movie, go. And candy. Mine's Monster Squad. 1987, bunch of kids had, when I was a kid, I loved all the monsters. I was obsessed with like everything, Dracula, Wolfman, Mummy, all those different creatures. So that has them all in that movie. It's just a cool, good, feel-good adventure movie with kids. So, and then Halloween candy. I've been in a Snickers mood, so that would be probably my go-to. Anyway, about bodybuilding, we're doing the incline prime press. I switched to doing a neutral grip as I was going a little bit wider, like right before it curves out. But if you look at where like the clavicular fibers run on the pec, it's at this downward angle, right? So if you had this upper arm cocked in to press at the angle of how those fibers run, you're looking at it's a pretty close grip press, and just being in a slight incline would be enough to bias those fibers a bit. So that's kind of what I'm emulating with the setup here. And as far as loading, I like this in the second movement because I can take the prime and load it at my top peg, so I can load it very heavy lengthened. That other press, it's kind of more of a mid-range press, my first one. So now that I'm a little bit more fatigued and the tricep lockout might be a limiting factor, I can change the profile of this one to keep able to get more stimulus in the set. And then my second and third set I do here, I drop weight off the middle peg and I move a bit more to the top peg. So I can now even take more off the tricep, the lockout, and more on the lengthen phase. Update for me, I'm currently floating 253 to 254, like right around this range. Had a little dip out in Olympia, just more active and harder to keep up with my body weight shifting and even putting in a little bit more food. So now that I'm back home, body weight clicked up a lot quicker, feel already like fuller and more pumped. It's just so much fun. Anyway, so that's where I'm sitting at here. And visuals are tight, like still in a great spot to keep pushing a course. I'm early in this off-season phase. Ideally, just keep moving up like 0.7 to 1 pound of body weight per week and just let it keep on riding out. Steps around 10,000 per day. Cardio, 4 days, just 20 minutes, no hit this season. I'm trying to get out and do some bike riding and just enjoy what's starting to be the cooler weather here in Texas. 5 meals for that breakdown on the diet, hitting 575 grams of carbs, 65 grams of fat, 330 grams of protein. On the off days, those carbs just drop down to 400. And I have a little bit more fat because on that day, sometimes rotating beef or salmon sometimes. That's the breakdown of where we're at. It's kind of boring in the off season. It's just be consistently doing the same thing at a high effort. Shows are won in the off season. Remember that. Oh, and last thing, next exercise, pec deck fly. So this will be loaded in the lengthen. So I do cam setting 3. So now we're like really heavy, just isolation work on the pec. 3 sets here. Our next lift I pair together prime lateral raise and I have a daisy chain tricep extension. I'm really into these daisy chains right now. I don't have a dual cable set up here. That's what I would use. But these daisy chains, they're long enough so they spread wide enough to where I get a pretty natural arm path and extension for my elbow. So just kind of loop them right around the bottom of the wrist. And man, I just don't get any forearm pain or issues around doing those. And I pretty much just superset them with my lateral. So I do a cam setting 3 on this. So it loads heavy at the beginning, lines up at the top. Do 3 sets of the tricep and then 4 sets of my lateral. I already have a lot of tricep work and triceps will respond pretty quickly to a lower volume. On the topic of volume, oh my gosh, this is still all over the place. It seems like we're having a backswing of now it's low volume. And the thing is with volume and effort, like these things exist together and one can shift the other in the opposite direction. What I mean by that, you train really, really high effort or you're improving your execution and delivery of that effort, you might need less sets. If you're earlier on and not that effective at like directing stimulus or you're training with lower effort, farther away from failure, you might need more sets. Now, what I like to teach is continuing progression of execution to get more out of every set and keeping effort high before you reach breakdown in form. So if you're earlier on, that might be earlier in a lift, like a beginner. If you're more advanced, you're gonna be able to take those sets farther. And what you're gonna do is how many sets, the volume level, is purely what you can recover from and repeat this session again with the frequency you need to improve that body part. So I know that's kind of ambiguous, right? But Just truly like have great form, train hard in the set, do as many of those sets you can while you can still recover and repeat it. And if that's too frequent, you might see your total volume decrease for the week. If it's too infrequent, you also might see your volume kind of low for the week. So you're trying to find that sweet spot to be able to repeat and do it again. With the number of sets, they don't always increase either. Like when I trained with Shaun Clarida, like we did 5 sets of quads. We were smoked. We had another exercise. We didn't even do it because our stimulus was so high in those sets. Think of it this way, like the quality of your set is like the strength of a shot of alcohol. You had like 3 vodka shots one workout. You're like, hey, I'm pretty buzzed. Like I got pretty lit up. That was a good set. That was a good drinking session. So have 3 shots, right? Alcohol percentage is the quality. Next workout, John comes in, he gives you some great cues. Those vodka shots now are like Everclear shots. The strength is way higher. You take 2 Everclear shots, you're like, whoa, totally different game. I'm wasted. But I had 3 shots last time, but it's less shots. Why am I even more drunk? Because the quality is so much higher. So basically, we're trying to be alcoholics. You're basically trying to continue to improve the quality of your set, quality of your alcohol, and then you're just doing as many of those you need to recover. And so the next day, if you're like still way hungover and you can't drink again, well, then you did have too many shots. Hope y'all love my analogy. Anyway, training. Ugh. Prime reverse fly now, hit some rear delts. So do rear delts on my push day, as I could definitely use more delt all around. Delts can't be big enough. So on pull day, tacking them at the very end after doing rows and pull downs, I just get a little bit quality of work is just low. So throw them on push, during the day, hit 4 sets, do cam setting 3 on a prime reverse fly. Throw them here. Gosh, I maybe my estrogen is like way high. I doubt it. But like yesterday, I was like on the podcast talking about the weekend with Shaun. I like started tearing up, and then had a client check in. His dog passed. I started getting choked up again. Like, you know, I was like, geez, am I just like, do I need to like crush my estrogen? Am I just getting more emotional in my older age? On the other estrogen, I am running Boldenone this offseason. It's been a while. So with our shortages around masteron and pre-Bolin, I'm coming up with some other cycle designs. But I'm one that does not aromatize very much at all. So I have like a 4-to-1 ratio of test to EQ. I don't need a lot of Boldenone, but I'm going to Italy next week, and then my levels would have been stable enough, consistent enough shots with the same dose to where I could pull labs and see where estradiol's at, and then adjust the EQ around that. So I might need to go lower. Just kind of had to gauge it off what I've used with Master and Primo together, but might have made some good guesses. So anyway, so far going really well on this layout. I feel like Eshin's in a good spot because I still, like, joints and stuff don't ache. I feel like big, hard, full, and libido's good. So should be in a good spot. It's okay.
I don't want to.
Ab work at the end of today's session. Do this panada crunch. I really like it. With these plate loaded crunches, or even pin loaded for that matter, it's hard to find one that lines up really well. But the panada one's really good, and you can set it to where the upper and lower move together, or just the lower or just the upper. I like just moving just the upper, and it loads heavy from the start position and kind of lets off as you get more contracted. So it is a great strength curve in the profile. I'll do this and superset it actually with a plank. So what I have weakness in is my TBA and keeping an isometric contraction. So I kind of like to pre-fatigue a bit here and then challenge myself more in holding that plank position. To me, it kind of resembles having to contract the abs and pull them in at the same time, just like you would on stage, and gain more strength in that position, which I have a hard time keeping an ab contraction on stage. Just like the mindfulness isn't that great, but also to have the strength to continue and the endurance to hold it. I'm going to see if this carries over to more of what I need on stage, is why I'm doing it. Right, well, that's a push day wrapped up in the books. Great session today. I am progressing up in my loads and reps and forms strict and locked in. So keep moving on up here. I think maybe for this next video, I'll show you all just a day of eating in the off season currently. Everyone likes day in the life of eating. Maybe I'll be able to record that one before I go to Italy. It'd be hard to get a video out while I'm over there. I think what I'd like to do is just shoot kind of our Italy trip and then come back, kind of give you an overview of it. Doing a seminar out there, the World Bodybuilding Summit. Should be a really cool event. Lots of good speakers and should be a great time. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.